Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansu to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So today we got a very interesting show for you guys. Before we get into it, make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So let's get into today's topic. So recently, Mark Cuban went on Gil's Arena not too long ago, about a week or so now. And he talked about a bunch of things. He talked about the GOAT debate. He talked about the Luka Doncic trade to the Lakers, the past and all of those interesting things. But there was a particular point where they started talking about the business of the NBA. And Mark Cuban was pointing out that he doesn't like the direction in which things are going. So let me give you guys an insight here. I'm currently living outside the States. So I watch all of the games on League Pass. I think the price now is $120 or something like that, and I can watch every single game, right? But I used to hear people complaining in the comment section like, man, it's impossible to watch this game. It's impossible to watch that game. I'm like, what are they talking about? I used to say to myself, just get League Pass. You can watch all the games on League Pass. I didn't understand it. It was only until I was in New York this summer, spring, summer, whatever, and I tried to watch some games. No, I tried to watch League Pass, and it wasn't showing any games. And I'm like, wait, what is going on here? My League Pass wasn't working. So if I wanted to watch games and I was there during the playoffs, when the Knicks were still in the playoffs, so I'd watch the games on ESPN. And if I wanted to watch any other games, I couldn't. And I was like, oh, now I see what people are talking about, which goes into where we're going to, because as you guys know, the NBA just recently inked a $77 billion deal over the next 10 or 11 years. You have certain companies paying them like $2.8 billion a year, like ESPN for the NBA rights, others. So you can follow those numbers. I think they're getting paid something like $7 billion a year with Amazon and all these other streaming platforms. And then you multiply that by the number of years. That's how you get to $77 billion. And what I've understood is that, because we covered this extensively when we were reporting on what Front Office Sports was saying, essentially what the NBA did was they took their inventory. So they have 82 games plus the playoffs. And they said, okay, ESPN, you're going to get 20 games. This company, you're going to get 10 games. This guys, you're going to get so-and-so games. These guys, you're going to get the first round of playoffs, second round play. You're going to get the final. And that's how they just broke up the pie. So if you wanted to watch all of these games, let's say you're an avid NBA follower, if you wanted to watch all of the games or watch games every night, chances are you need to be subscribed to multiple streaming platforms, which now becomes ridiculous to be paying all of these different streaming platforms just to watch these live events. And I think some people are just coming to the mindset of like, well, then I guess I'm just going to have to miss out on some of these games. So essentially, this is what Mark Cuban was talking about when he was criticizing the NBA, because he believes that they're making a mistake and they're selling out NBA fans. So take a listen to what Mark Cuban had to say here on Gil's Arena, and then when to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
What do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges for the NBA over the next decade?
I think the whole media space is really funky, right? That social media is more of a connection to fans. Mm-hmm. Like, particularly with the NBA, kids today are more fans of the players than they are the teams. Mm-hmm. Like when we grew up, you're a Lakers fan, right? I'm a Steelers fan, I'm a Pirates fan, all Pittsburgh teams, right? Now it's just like you see Steph, and Steph comes to town, and there's a ton of kids with Steph jerseys on. Yep. That wasn't going to happen 10 years ago, pre-social media. So I think, trying to monetize and recognize that, social media is going to change and impact how we market our players, market our teams, and market our product. I think the fact that private equity is buying into so many teams, I think is a problem, because, for the first 20 years that I was an owner, I and other owners too would be pushing that fan experience, make it affordable. Now it's all about valuations, and so everybody just, if you're a private equity and you have investors in these things called special purpose vehicles, all you want to do is the value of the team to go up. Mm-hmm. And if you're trying to just jack up ticket prices, jack up costs, jack up merchandise sales, that's not necessarily best for fans, mm-hmm. And so I think fans are getting priced out. So I think that's an issue. I think, the ultimate business question for the NBA is how will our games impact streaming subscriptions for our new streaming partners? Because one of the reasons these numbers went up so high is Peacock streaming, I think it was them, they did a deal with the NFL, like one special deal for like a playoff game,
Yep.
and got like a zillion new subscribers.
I was one of them.
Right, and everybody is betting that's what's going to happen. If there's a lot of churn or we don't get those subscriptions for those partners, it's going to be tough for them right? And so I think that's a big issue. But in terms of the players themselves, the NBA is in good hands. In terms of the quality of the game, the NBA is in good shape. In terms of taking it to Europe, like, I think for the whole time I was there, I was like, why are we giving our best players to the Olympics so that Comcast can make us money and the Olympic Committee can make, because the NBA players were for the Summer Olympics, the NBA players were the draw, right? Why are we giving it free? Why don't we create our own World Cup and do like soccer did, right? For the Olympics, 23 and under, great. But let's play Slovenia against, all the different countries and own it. It would be enormous. It would be the biggest basketball event ever. And David Stern and then Adam were like, that's not our deal with FIBA, and we can't do it. And I think, now they're trying to put teams in Europe to find a new way to raise revenues and margins and everything. And I think it'll do okay, but they're missing the big opportunity.
So you heard what he had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Someone like me, I'm going to pay for all of them, but I'm not going to pay out of my pocket. It's going to be a business expense because I'm watching these games primarily because, I watch it for entertainment, sure, but also to be abreast, to be abreast of what's going on. So I'm just going to mark it up and I'll pay for it that way. But most people are not going to do that. Most people watch NBA for leisure. They're not watching it because they talk about the NBA, number one. Number two, most people don't have that disposable income to pay for all of these different streaming apps all at once. Most people are just not willing to do that, right? They're not. And usually what happens is if you pay for a particular subscription, I only have one subscription that is reoccurring. That's Netflix. Every other one is just kind of like like HBO Max, I'll get it and then I'll let it go and I'll get another one. And the only reason why people usually sign up for those things, at least based off of my experience, is because you may want to watch a particular show that's coming out. So you tune in, you subscribe, you watch it. But once that show's over, chances are you get rid of it. Like I was watching, what's that show on Netflix, not Netflix, HBO Max with the Star Wars, the new updated version of it. I was watching because of that, but then the series ended and I'm like, okay, I'm not subscribed anymore, right? So people usually do it for that. But to tell me that people should have all of these subscriptions running concurrently just because they want to watch a game on any given night, I think is ridiculous. And a lot of people are probably just going to opt out to say, you know what, look, I'm not going to partake in this madness. I'm not doing it. All right, I have better things I'd rather spend my money on. And I think that this is a calculation that obviously the NBA must have taken into inventory. But nevertheless, it doesn't disprove what Mark Cuban is saying, that it is an issue, especially for fans. Let me know what you think about what he had to say in the comment section. And we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.